In today's lesson, I will teach you how to invert anything on the guitar. And when I say anything, as opposed to a chord, I mean exactly that, because sometimes you'll have a chord as you think of a 1, 3, and 5 type chord, so it's a very structured kind of thing. Oftentimes you'll have a group of notes that by themselves don't spell a neatly structured chord, and we will learn how to invert those as well. And we'll talk about those later. But first of all, why do we want to invert on the guitar? Well, first of all, anything that we learn on the guitar is expanding our mind, so we want to do that. That's in general. More specifically speaking, if you have a chord voicing that you like, that works for you, and you were told that, hey, you can play 3 more voicings that will express the same flavor, why would you not want to use those, so that every time you play a tune, you'll have something else you can play and create more variety in your playing? The other reason is that since we invert a voicing, every time a different note will be on the top of the chord. And therefore, this is extremely useful for chord melodies, where if you have, let's say, 7 notes in a scale and you're inverting a 4-note chord, just by inverting that, you are covering 4 out of the 7 scale notes. And we're going to start with this very simple triad that has C, E, and G. And on the guitar, we can invert in 2 different directions. We can invert horizontally and vertically because of the structure of the guitar. But whatever the case, the notes are going to be exactly identical. And here's what you got to do. This is, right now, this principle that I'm going to give you is the most important thing that you can hear about this particular topic. And here's what you got to do. This voicing will now look like this on strings 4, 3, and 2. Following the same process. And I want to just show you that this principle works also for open voicings. And after I do that, I want to move into 4-note voicings. We get this lovely voicing, and you get this voicing. Now we have G, E, and C on top. Moving down this path and adding a note, still in C, I want to invert what is maybe familiar to many of you, a drop 2 voicing. And we'll talk about drop chords in a whole other lesson. But this is a shape that is probably familiar to many of you. We touched on the basics. We inverted simple closed voicing triads. We also inverted open voicing triads. And just to throw it in there, I just inverted C major chords. Of course, this applies to minor as well as other voicings too, or quality of chords. We just did the example in C major just to get the ball rolling. This moves me on to the next segment neatly, because what I want to explore now are voicings that do not fall so cleanly into a category of 1, 3, 5, and 7. 2 such voicings that are not as neatly organized. First one, we're going to deal with this quartal type harmony. We will continue this concept with this voicing against the C, and all the examples that we've done so far are started at least with playing them against the C, so we have some kind of a baseline of where we're starting. Accordingly, we're going to get this sound right here, which sounds great against C. I guess you can finger it like this, or do it like this, or let the bass player do it. It's very dissonant because you have that minor second here. And again, it's an inversion of this. So it's one of those things. If you're playing a tune, you're with your quartet or trio, and you're used to playing this, and this sounds good to you, why not also play this? Let alone that you have a different melody on top.